Hello, everyone, and welcome to Jaishree's podcast. It's 2nd January 2021, a new dawn with new promises and inspirations. Today, I take this opportunity to narrate one of the most inspiring and prolific writers who has inspired me time and again, and I am sure many out there. Jiddu Krishnamurti. He was a philosopher, speaker, and writer. In his early life, he was groomed to be the New World teacher, but later rejected this mantle and withdrew from the theosophy organization behind it. His interests included psychological revolution, the nature of mind, meditation, inquiry, human relationships, and bringing about radical change in society. He stressed the need for the revolution in the psyche of every human being and emphasized that such revolution cannot be brought about by any external entity, be it religious, political, or social. Today, I narrate a piece from his famous book, This Matter of Culture. Here we go. I wonder if we have ever asked ourselves what education means. Why do we go to school? Why do we learn various subjects? Why do we pass examinations and compete with each other for better grades? What does this so-called education mean, and what is it all about? This is really a very important question, not only for the students, but also for the parents, for the teachers, and for everyone who loves this earth. Why do we go through the struggle to be educated? Is it merely in order to pass some examinations and get a job? Or is it the function of education to prepare us while we are young to understand the whole process of life? Having a job and earning one's livelihood is necessary. But is that all? Are we being educated only for that? Surely, life is not merely a job and occupation. Life is something extraordinarily wide and profound. It is a great mystery, a vast realm in which we function as human beings. If we merely prepare ourselves to earn a livelihood, we shall miss the whole point of life, and to understand life is much more important than merely to prepare for examinations and become very proficient in mathematics, physics, or what you will. So whether we are teachers or students, is it not important to ask ourselves why we are educating or being educated? And what does life mean? Is not life an extraordinary thing? The birds, the flowers, the flourishing trees, the heavens, the stars, the rivers, and the fish therein, all this is life. Life is the poor and the rich. Life is the constant battle between groups, races, and nations. Life is meditation. Life is what we call religion. And it is also the subtle hidden things of the mind, the envies, the ambitions, the passions, the fears, fulfillments, and anxieties. All this and much more is life. But we generally prepare ourselves to understand only one small corner of it. We pass certain examinations, find a job, get married, have children, and then become more and more like machines. We remain fearful, anxious, frightened of life. So, is it the function of education to help us understand the whole process of life, or is it merely to prepare us for a vocation, for the best job we can get? What is going to happen to all of us when we grow to be men and women? Have you asked yourselves what you're going to do when you grow up? In all likelihood, you will get married, and before you know where you are, you will be mothers and fathers, and you will then be tied to a job or to the kitchen in which you will gradually wither away. Is that all that your life is going to be? Have you ever asked yourselves this question? Should you not ask it? If your family is wealthy, you may have a fairly good position already assured. Your father may give you a comfortable job, or you may get richly married. But there also you will decay, deteriorate. Do you see? Surely, education has no meaning unless it helps you to understand the vast expanse of life with all its subtleties, with its extraordinary beauty, its sorrows and joys. You may earn degrees, you may have a series of letters after your name and land a very good job. But then what? What is the point of it all if it in the process your mind becomes dull, weary, stupid? So while you are young, must you not seek to find out what life is all about? And is it not the true function of education to cultivate in you the intelligence which will try to find the answer to all these problems? Do you know what intelligence is? It is the capacity, surely, to think freely without fear, without a formula, so that you begin to discover for yourself what is real, what is true. But if you are frightened, you will never be intelligent. Any form of ambition, spiritual or mundane, breeds anxiety, fear. Therefore, ambition does not help to bring about a mind that is clear, simple, direct, and hence intelligent. You know, it is really very important while you are young to live in an environment in which there is no fear. Most of us, as we grow older, become frightened. We are afraid of living, afraid of losing a job, afraid of tradition, afraid of what the neighbors or what the wife or husband would say, afraid of death. Most of us have fear in one form or another. And where there is fear, there is no intelligence. And is it not possible for all of us, while we are young, to be in an environment where there is no fear, but rather an atmosphere of freedom? Freedom not just to do what we like, but to understand the whole process of living. Life is really very beautiful. It is not this ugly thing that we have made of it. And you can appreciate its richness, its depth, its extraordinary loveliness only when you revolt against everything, against organized religion, against tradition, against the present rotten society, so that you as a human being find out for yourself what is true, not to imitate, but to discover. That is education, is it not? It is very easy to conform to what your society or your parents and teachers tell you. That is a safe and easy way of existing, but that is not living, because in it there is fear, decay, death. To live is to find out for yourself what is true, and you can do this only when there is freedom, when there is continuous revolution inwardly within yourself. But you are not encouraged to do this. No one tells you to question, to find out for yourself what God is. Because if you were to rebel, you would become a danger to all that is false. Your parents and society want you to live safely, and you also want to live safely. Living safely generally means living in imitation and therefore in fear. Surely, the function of education is to help each one of us to live freely and without fear, is it not? And to create an atmosphere in which there is no fear requires a great deal of thinking on your part as well as on the part of the teacher, the educator. Do you know what this means? What an extraordinary thing it would be to create an atmosphere in which there is no fear? And we must create it. Because we see that the world is caught up in endless wars. It is guided by politicians who are always seeking power. It is a world of lawyers, policemen and soldiers, of ambitious men and women, all wanting position and all fighting each other to get it. Then there are the so-called saints, the religious gurus with their followers. They also want power, position, here or in the next life. It is a mad world, completely confused, in which the communist is fighting the capitalist, the socialist is resisting both, and everybody is against somebody, struggling to arrive at a safe place, a position of power or comfort. The world is torn by conflicting beliefs, by caste and class distinctions, by separative nationalities, by every form of stupidity and cruelty. And this is the world you are being educated to fit into. You are encouraged to fit into the framework of this disastrous society. Your parents want you to do that, and you also want to fit in. Now, is it the function of education merely to help you to conform to the pattern of this rotten social order, or is it to give you freedom? Complete freedom to grow and create a different society, a new world. We want to have this freedom, not in the future, but now. Otherwise, we may all be destroyed. We must create immediately an atmosphere of freedom so that you can live and find out for yourselves what is true, so that you become intelligent, so that you are able to face the world and understand it, not just conform it, so that inwardly, deeply, psychologically, you are in the constant revolt. Because it is only those who are in constant revolt that discover what is true, not the man who conforms, who follows some tradition. It is only when you are constantly inquiring, constantly observing, constantly learning that you find truth, God or love. And you cannot inquire, observe, learn. You cannot be deeply aware if you are afraid. So the function of education surely is to eradicate inwardly as well as outwardly this fear that destroys human thought, human relationship and love.